What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel once again. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Vevor magnetic tumbler. Now, I did actually use this in my previous video making the metal moose, but today we're going to tumble a few other things as well, just to kind of see how well it works on a bunch of different things. But let's jump right into this and let's get started. Now, if you didn't see my previous video that I released, I will put a link right up here so you can check that out. But this did come really nicely packaged. It did have it all encased in styrofoam, and as I was pulling it out, I was cracking pieces of styrofoam off. And everything you're going to need does come with it. It does come with the nice bowl, the lid, the power cord, which is actually already plugged in behind there. And it does come with a bag of these little fine needles that you can see here. Now, I did actually go ahead and pick up some extra needles, just in case, you run out or something like that. And just taking a look at these, I don't know if you can tell and how clear it is, but these ones I picked up off of Amazon look extremely dirty. So before I even use these, I'm gonna wanna just run it through a cycle first, just to clean them all off, because it does look, I don't know if it's rust or dirt or what it is, but they do look really dirty. So I probably won't be using those just yet. So I still have a bag of nice clean ones that I use. So that's what I'll be using for now. Now, I do have a few things I will be testing out. I pulled off this coin right off the laser. This is exactly how it came off. I haven't done anything to it. I didn't polish it or clean it or wire brush it or anything. So we're gonna see if this will clean this up and see how well it turns out. And I do have some old, dirty pennies that just look like total junk, and they're dark and dull and they don't look great. This was kind of a little bit cleaner one, but still not that great compared to some of the other ones. As you can see, this one's much dirtier. And I do have one of these copper pieces that I actually poured, and in a previous video as well, I half cleaned it off and the other half I didn't, just so you can kind of see the difference of when actually right after you pour it compared to when you clean it up. So we're gonna throw one of these in. And also I have the same thing with this little arrowhead, that one side I cleaned up, one side I didn't. So we'll put this one in as well and kind of see how well this does cleaning these up. Now, taking a look at the machine, on the front, it does have the on-off switch. And if you set it to the top, it just goes and spins in one direction. And if you flip it to the bottom, it'll actually rotate in the other direction. And it'll switch every like 5 or 10 minutes. It turns off, rotates the other way, and goes back. And right in the middle is the off position. You do have the knob on here as well, so you can set it from anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour to 60 minutes, or just keep it on off. It does have some nice handles on the side, which make lifting this up really easily. This isn't very heavy at all. This probably only weighs maybe, 8 to 10 pounds, so it's not heavy at all. The bowl actually does come off with the lid. So if you need to fill it up with water, you can. Taking a look at it, you can see where the low, standard, high for the water level for where you want to put it in. So for this, I'm just gonna put it right at the standard. And on the moose, I actually filled it up to the high. But for these, since these are smaller pieces, I'm just gonna fill it up to standard and we'll see how that goes. So let's just go ahead, we'll fill this up with water. We'll add the pins, and I'm gonna be adding this Shine Bright that you can just pick up off of Amazon, and all you need is just a cap full of this, and that's it. If you don't have this or don't wanna use this, there are other things you can use. You could just use a drop of Dawn dish soap if you wanna do that. But since I already have this, this is what I'll be using. So now I just grab some water and we'll just fill it up. And we'll fill it up to the standard line, pretty much right in the middle. So now I'll add in all the pins, and it does come with, this is 250 grams of pins. So this first one, I'm just gonna put in the coins. So I'll put in my Marvel coin, and I'll put in these 5 pennies, and we'll just drop those in as well, kind of scatter them out. And then we'll add just a cap full of this Shine Bright. We'll put the lid on, and we'll put it on the double rotation, so it goes forward for a little bit and then goes the other way for a little bit. And we'll let this run. Let's just do this for a half hour first, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. All right, so it's been a half an hour and this has finished. You can see how dirty this water gets, so I do recommend wearing a glove. Otherwise, this will end up staining your hands and you'll have to sit there and scrub it off and it's not fun. I do just have a bucket of water so I can just rinse them off. So let's take a look. I'll see if I can fish some of these out. But just looking already at that penny, that's definitely much cleaner. So let's take a closer look now at these. I'll pull out these pennies first. And right off the bat, I can already tell that these are much shinier. This one still probably needs to do it again, but you can see it's definitely not nearly as dirty and it does have some shine to it. But they all relatively look much cleaner than they did. Let's take a look at the laser engraved coin. And here's this one. You can see that did a really good job. There's still some markings. I'm actually going to run this again. And since I only ran this for a half hour, it probably didn't get all of it, but we'll run it again one more time and see if it does a little bit better. But overall, for a half hour for this, I think this worked really well. But I'm going to put these same ones in. I'm not going to clean the water out just yet. I'm just going to drop them all back in with the pennies. We'll run it for another half hour, so it'll be an hour total, and we'll see if it gets any better. All right, so this second half an hour has finished, so let's take a look at it. See if I can fish out all the pieces again. So there you go. Looking at these pennies, the one that was pretty dirty, I don't remember which one it is. It might be that one, but it did get really clean. I'll get these all dried off and set aside and we can look a little bit closer in a minute. All right, so here are those pennies. Taking a closer look at them. But all of these I think turned out really nice. It did do a really good job of getting them clean. For a comparison, this was the one that was the cleanest out of all of them that I never even put in. And you can see the difference on how it looks just side by side when I didn't do anything with this one. This was the laser engraved coin. And I probably should run this for a little bit longer, see if I can get rid of some of these lines, or I should have probably hit it with a wire brush first. But it did do a really good job of, even polishing it up, like pre-polishing it a little bit. So I am happy with how that turned out, but I probably would run this one a little bit longer and probably maybe for another hour to see if I can get it a little bit better. But overall, I think it did a really good job. I'm going to clean this water out though, and then we're going to try these two other pieces. We'll try this little bar, and we'll also try this little arrowhead too, and see if it'll get these all cleaned up as well. But I'm going to get this water all cleaned out first, and then we'll try these ones. So let's do that. And now the easiest way I found to clean this was to just take a pretty powerful magnet, hold it underneath when you're draining this into the sink. That way it'll keep all the magnetic pins kind of in one area and they won't fall down the drain. All right, so I got this all cleaned out, put some clean water in there. This is just the magnet that I used to hold all the pieces. And if you see, if I put this on the bottom, I can kind of manipulate the pieces, but if I just keep it right at the edge, when I tilt the bowl, you can see that the stainless steel pins don't move. So it makes it very easy to just flush out the water and rinse it without the pieces and pins falling down the drain. So let's put this back on. We'll add in our little bars. I'll add this one in too. And a little bit more of this Shine Bright. Put the lid back on, we'll hit start. I will just run this one for a full hour. I won't do the half-hour increments. So we'll let it run for an hour and see how it turns out when it comes back. So let's start this and we'll come back. All right, so this has been running for an hour and it finished. So let's take a look. Take a look at this one. As you can see, this did a really good job. You can still see just a little bit that's left, but it did shine up the rest as well. And I think that worked great. Let's take a look at the other one. Here was the arrowhead, and it's no longer black, dark. I think that worked great. It did leave a nice surface finish. It looks really good. And that's only having it run for 1 hour. So now let's go over my thoughts on this machine and what I think of it. So first let me say I was using a rotary tumbler in the past and it did an okay job, but I think this works 100 times better. It's a little bit quieter. It's still a little noisy, but it's not as noisy as the rotary tumbler was. So that's definitely a plus. I think it does a better job cleaning them. As you saw, I think they did a great job cleaning up just the pennies, especially when you look at the original ones from how it was at, and even this one was like the cleanest one out of like the bunch that I grabbed, but it did a much better job of cleaning these up. The bar and the arrowhead I think turned out really good. You can still see a little bit left in the discoloration that I probably, if I would have let it go for another half hour or so, I probably would have gotten rid of that and made it all the same color. But it did do a nice job of cleaning up all that black that was on there originally. As for the coin, I probably should have ran this for probably another hour, but it still did a really nice job of cleaning it up. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll just need to take the polisher to it and polish it up. Now I want you to keep in mind that these magnetic tumblers aren't going to polish your pieces. They will clean them and they'll put like a nice shine and sheen on them, but they're not going to make them a high quality polish that you would see that if you actually used a polishing wheel. I do like that this isn't very heavy. It's not very big. It does take up a little bit of space compared to my rotary tumbler, which is probably half the size of this. But I do like this because it has a nice big bowl. It's easy to put your pieces into. I don't have to try and fit it into the rotary. I can just drop it in once I add the water and then just place the lid on. I do like that it has dual rotations, that you can either turn it one way and have it just go the one direction, or you can flip it so it'll rotate every 5 or 10 minutes or so. I do like that it has the timer up to 60 minutes, and if you do just want to leave it on continually, you can just turn it to the left onto the on position, and that'll just let it continuously run until you decide to stop it. I do like that it comes with the pins already, and it even tells you the water line on where you need to fill this up to, so you're not just randomly pouring in water and not really know how high it's supposed to go. But if you keep it right at about the standard level, that should be just fine. If your pieces are a little bit bigger, you might want to fill it up to the high and probably add in a few more pins. Now this does come with 250 grams to begin with, but I would recommend probably picking up a little bit more just in case you do have a little bit bigger pieces and you need to add more pins in, or you accidentally pour some down the sink while you're trying to clean it out, or something like that, or you just lose some. I think the only thing I would change about this is I do wish that it had a screw on top. This does just sit on. There's no way to actually secure it. Once this was running for a little while and it got really bubbly, I did notice that some bubbles started to kind of seep out the side and on the cracks, and some drops were running down. Not really a big deal, but I do wish that it did just screw on so it would be sealed up. So if you are in the market and looking to pick up one of these magnetic tumblers, I will put a link down in the description on where you can pick this up. I do recommend this as this is a really good deal and it does a really good job, but definitely check the description down below on where you can get this picked up, and along with a discount code to save you a little bit of money as well. But that's going to be it for this video, everybody, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below, ring the bell, get notified of all the new videos that come out. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.